Oh, there she is.
Hi.
How's it going? You
Sup?
look pretty. You look pretty upset there. What is good, Whisper Nation? Johnny Game Time Hicks here with the Fantasy Whispers. Hope you guys all are having fun filling out those brackets, and you need just a little bit of a break between there to talk a little AAF. Let's see, still waiting for Stepmom Lauren here to jump on. Oh, there she is.
Hi.
How's it going? You
Sup?
look pretty. You look pretty upset there.
Yeah, I'm having a great day. How are you?
I am having a wonderful day. We have we're on the eve of March Madness, Stepmom Lauren, which is happens to be one of my favorite times of the year. And being that, the Hotshots actually did something this last weekend, and I'm able to jump on here with you, I'm pretty excited, actually.
Yeah, the Hotshots are good. I texted you that.
Yes. I have to give you props. And I know we're going to dive into this in just a second, but I have to give you mad props because on your live show, you talked about how the Hotshots had a shot at winning this, and you could actually see that. And I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, what is she talking about? There's no way we're going to win. And sure enough, hey, that's why you are the expert on the show, and that's why I do the editing and the listening because
quiet. No, I really thought so. The Hotshots, I've said this before, but the Hotshots came in this inaugural season of the AAF, and they were ranked number 1 in power rankings for a reason. Now, Apollos were number 2, so that's pretty good. But if anyone really, at this point in the season especially, has a chance or had a chance to beat the Apollos, it was going to be the Hotshots. Just look at what they did last week against the Commanders. I mean, they literally came back from a huge deficit. I think it was 29 points. I can't remember even now. But, I mean, they really came back to just, oh, my gosh, their offense, their defense, everything started clicking and gelling, and they used that momentum, carried it over into the following week, which is not easy to do, especially against a powerhouse like the Apollos, and they got it done. So if there was a team that I actually don't feel that bad losing to, it's going to be the Hotshots. I really saw that coming because Wolford's, he's awesome. He's really good. I think he actually leads in touchdowns thrown. I don't know. Yeah. Don't quote me on that, but I did hear that. I didn't fact check. I was lazy. My bad.
Yeah, we're working on getting a fact checker.
Dropping my mask.
Yeah, exactly. So before we dive all the way into all these matchups, if you didn't know, that's Stepmom Lauren, at Stepmom Lauren. You can find her on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. She is joining Whisper Nation every Wednesday to talk AAF, and then we are very excited that she is going to be producing content for Whisper Nation and the Fantasy Whispers this upcoming NFL season.
Absolutely.
Super grateful and excited about that. And you guys know me. I'm Johnny Game Time Hicks, and you can catch me at John Hicks 3, I believe, is my Twitter. I should know that. That's bad, huh?
Or just, at TF Whispers. I mean,
yeah, TF Whispers. I'm always on that one most of the time, if I'm being honest. All right. Before we jump into these games and these matchups, and this will segue into a one matchup I want to talk about here. And we have Johnny Manziel signing with an AAF team. And it was rumored. So this is kind of crazy, all right? Oh, you don't like this move either.
I actually do. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I do.
But I just want to take a step back here and just talk about how, if anything, now the ratings for the AAF have gone down a little bit since the week opener. But you have to give it to them because they are doing whatever is necessary to try to grab our attention, whether that be trying to get Colin Kaepernick and, leaking out the story that he wouldn't play for the AAF unless it was $20 million. And then, or going out and getting Johnny Manziel. Exactly. It's all like to grab our attention. And I got to say, I was very interested and intrigued in the AAF And then I even got more excited when they talked about Colin Kaepernick, because there was a lot of Twitter action going on around that about Colin Kaepernick and who would you be more interested in. I certainly would have been. And then now Johnny Manziel, that was the other guy that came to mind that I was like, oh, I'd be intrigued by that. Heck, I'll admit it. I'll admit it to you, Stepmom Lauren. I even tuned into a Canadian football game when Johnny Manziel started because I wanted to see him play.
Who wouldn't? I mean, he's kind of like the old version of like Showtime Pat Mahomes. I mean, he is such a character. Even if you can love him, you can hate him, you can be in the middle of the fence, like, who cares? But he's so exciting. He was an exciting person when he was playing college. He was exciting when he was in the NFL, whether or not that was based on controversy or based on talent. He's got both of those things in spades. So what I really enjoy about this pickup, I don't know if I can segue into the team that picked him up, but come on. We've got the Memphis Express, who are 1-5 now, and then we have Johnny Manziel. This is going to sound so terrible, but you know what? They're both at rock bottom. They're a match made in heaven. So why not go for it and make it work? But in all honesty, like you said with the ratings, I think people are going to want to try to tune in and see, like, okay, so like you said, you had to go find the CFL game to watch him play. Well, now it's right here. It's in America. It's back here. We can watch it. We'll see how he does or doesn't do. I don't know, but it's still, hey, it can get butts in the seats, which is great. And maybe, and you know what, the NFL does love Johnny Manziel as well. So maybe this is going to get even more advertising that they can get, a little bit more promotions. Who knows? But I mean, I think that's one of the greatest pickups ever. I mean, they have nothing left to lose. Why not go for it? I mean, he's an explosive player when he's not being crazy, but that's what makes him so much fun to watch, right? So I'm curious to see how he's grown as well, as a human, as an adult, which is what this AAF league is all about. Giving these guys second, third chances, giving them a chance to redeem themselves or give them experience, which does Johnny Manziel really have a ton of experience? I don't really know if we can classify his former version in the NFL as a lot of experience. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, he played with the Cleveland Browns when they were actually terrible. So it's hard to say, but I'm with you. I think it brings.
You're just right. Memphis Express makes so much sense.
Right. So we'll dive into that. Memphis Express at the Salt Lake Stallions.
Yes.
And you've been talking up the Salt Lake Stallions for a while, saying that they're not true to their record. And once again, you were correct in your breakdown. So I'll let you dive into that and let Whisper Nation know exactly what you saw.
Thank you. Okay, so they did win this game, which was awesome, but their record is 2-4. And like you alluded to and just said, they're just not their record. And here's the number one reason why they are not their record is because of their defense. They have the number one rush defense in the AAF. So let me just give you some numbers here. They held the Express running game to 50 total rushing yards. So the number 4 running back in the AAF is Zach Stacy for the Memphis Express. He was held to 31 yards on 11 carries. That's unbelievable. I know. And they forced 3 turnovers. And let me just, if I could have an hour to talk about how much I love Carter Schultz, I would take that hour and just expound upon, I say this word a lot, but that man is a beast and he's a very bad man. So he leads the AAF with sacks at 7. 2 more that he got in this game. And his first sack against Mettenberger, took his head off and then he was out of the game, nail on the coffin. Sorry about ya. It's crazy. But also on the offensive side of the ball, Woodrum has a lot of talent, and he is so good at spreading the ball around and making it very difficult for defenses to try to predict who he's going to throw the ball to. In fact, he had 11 different pass catchers that he targeted in this game, and that's great. And he does. I think he has 5 interceptions so far, so he really needs to make sure he can contain his 5 interceptions. And as soon as the offense can really start getting on the same, I want to say the same page, when they can start producing as much as their defense does, this is going to be a team that is a force to be reckoned with, in my opinion. Yeah. And that's why they're not their record, but their offense really has to start moving forward just like their defense does, and they did it in this game, which was really cool to see.
Yeah, talking about Zach Stacy, he actually leads the league in forced missed tackles with 18. And second on that list is your boy Trent Richardson with 17. So Zach Stacy's out there doing his thing. Got to give it to him for getting that second chance. It will be interesting if, Memphis Express has, obviously signed Johnny Manziel. This offense could actually really help him because he's used to this more spread offense. So I actually like what Memphis Express is doing. I think you said it best. They're both kind of hit rock bottom, and the only way you can go is up. So that'll be interesting there. And the Salt Lake Stallions now quietly, causing a little bit of stir in the AAF and climbing. Yeah, so
I love it.
We got a few weeks left for them to really make a huge jump.
And another real quick thing, too, if I may jump in, one of the things that Memphis Express did do a very good job in this game was their defense really stepped up to the plate because they held the Stallions to 19-9, I think it was, for almost the whole game. So their defense had to step up big and make some big-time plays, which they ended up doing. And I think this game had, 6 turnovers total combined. So it was kind of sloppy on both sides. But, I mean, come on. The Memphis Express has the pieces there. Let's hope, Johnny Football can come in and make some waves. But, the Stallions are really – they're moving up, and they're like the dark horse that I really like. They're that sleeper team that teams are going to play against and really not expect what they're going to play against unless they've really studied the film. Like I have. I should just be a coach. I should just go in there and be like, Memphis, come on. Singletary. I got you.
What city could we make it to make it the Ever Whisperers? Let's do it. I'm fully behind it. I back you.
Let's do this. We should make a team.
They're adding teams. So we just need a billionaire banker or something to back us up, and we're all set.
Yeah, he's in my back pocket. Let me just go grab him real quick.
All right. Hey, you seem to know a lot of people, so it wouldn't surprise me.
No.
All right, so we're going to jump into the second matchup. We're going to talk about the San Antonio Commanders, who are living up to their name, I think, with their solid defense against this Atlanta Legends team. I know Atlanta Legends aren't the greatest team in the AAF, but you got to give it up to this Commanders defense, am I right? Like, they're playing good, solid defense.
Their defense is incredible. I mean, there really isn't a better D overall. Granted, the Stallions have the best run team. I get it. But the Commanders, oh, my gosh. Coming into this week, they had 8 turnovers in the last 2 weeks. So they tacked on another 4 this week. That's 12 turnovers in 3 weeks. But not only that, the offense capitalized on those turnovers to create points. And then, I guess if you're talking fantasy, defense, special teams, we had Greg Ward return a 70-yard punt return for a touchdown. I mean, all across the board, this Commanders team is unbelievable, but their defense, holy moly. So, yeah, and Greg Ward, oh my gosh. But the offense, like I said, Logan Woodside and Mikhail McKay. What?
Yeah.
They're deadly.
That's such an interesting combo there.
Oh, my.
And you got to seriously start thinking about a team that has as good of a defense and that can kind of take over games is already pretty solid. And then you look at this offense, and this offense is actually humming pretty well. And
yes.
That's the exact combination. Now they're getting hot at the right time. I think, they kind of started off maybe a little bit shaky, but now they're 4-2. And they've got a very solid record, second in the league. And, this is a team that quietly, I'm kind of liking this team.
I do.
They're just like I hate to say this because I'm a Phoenix Suns fan as well if we're talking basketball. So San Antonio Spurs, super boring, but they always win. They had good, solid defense, and their offense would always just work. And that's kind of San Antonio Commanders, what? It's it goes hand in hand to me. So I'm not really too surprised, but I just think it's kind of funny.
I agree. So speaking of your Hotshots, Arizona. So they played the Commanders the previous week, and they almost lost. And it's a combination of the Commanders letting up off the gas, and it's also a contribution of the Hotshots being that good that they were able to nearly clinch that win against the Commanders. Now, my biggest question was going to be, are they going to be able to put points on the board early and then keep their foot on the gas and continue momentum going forward, which is what we saw in this game. They ended up doing that. They did not let up. They did not play conservative. They ended up playing all 4 quarters solid, which is what sealed the deal for them in this game. And yeah, I know it's the Legends. I get it. But it's any team. Anything can happen on any given Saturday, Sunday. In this league, it's totally unpredictable. And they did the right thing. I think they learned from their mistake against the Hotshots by being so conservative the way they played before. And it was impressive. And I said this to Travis week 3 when we talked about it. I am so impressed with the Commanders. Just their entire team, special teams, offense, defense. It's unbelievable how well that they play. But against the Hotshots, it was like, oh, but are they that good? I don't know. Only because they just let their foot off the gas, and they proved that they can play all 4 full quarters this game. And it was, I don't know, like that's another team besides the Hotshots and the Stallions too, that I'm actually worried for the Orlando Apollos, because I'm like, all right, guys, oh geez,
I'm telling you, these playoff matchups could get real nice,
and it's fun.
Yeah. So we will jump into that since we kind of already talked about it, but we haven't gone in depth yet. So the Arizona Hotshots at the Orlando Apollos. This game ended 22-17, and you have a big, you have a challenge flag or I guess it's just a haters flag. That could be too.
It is. I don't. Would a haters flag be like a green flag instead of like a red or a yellow one? Could I have like a green flag that I just throw out, or maybe black?
Yeah.
Black my soul felt at the end of that game. What the? Oh my gosh! I'm so mad. I hate that rule. So the Lions had that last year. I think it was against the Packers, where they were so close to the end zone to have a chance to come back and win the game. And then the offensive lineman false start 10-second runoff. I'm like, oh, no! But I think the whole point of that game was that it was so nail-biting. And it was like, okay, so when is Orlando going to make their adjustments like they do every other team they play? What's going on? And then they were going for it on 4th down when it's like, take the field goal, Spurrier. What are you doing? Oh, my gosh. I was crazy. I needed Pepto. I had indigestion. I have no more nails left. I bit them all off. It was terrible. But the key for the Hotshots, which they really exploited, which other teams have not been able to do, is getting in Garrett Gilbert's grill, getting all up in his face. They really completely interrupted the chemistry that he has built with Charles Johnson, with Jalen Marshall, with Dearness Johnson, with Devion Smith. They got a little bit going, but not like they have before. And it was just completely interrupted, stopped dead in its tracks. And it's like they floundered and they didn't know how to come back from that. And I really thought at halftime Spurrier would be able to make some crazy Spurrier-ish changes, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But kudos to the Hotshots, though. And I told you, like I said before, I was worried about this game. I was worried.
That was like I said, I give you props because I am a fan of the Hotshots, and I didn't even think that they had a shot. No pun intended. But here's what I want to ask you about. So Ross had a pretty Rashad Ross. Rashad Ross had a pretty big game, right? He had 5 receptions on 10 targets, so kind of the targets were kind of over the place. But for 51 yards, and he had what looked like on every catch that he made, went to the ground and then got up like grimacing in pain. And I every single time I was like, oh, that is he going to come out? And he wouldn't. And they just kept going to him and targeting him. And so for me, Ross has definitely been a guy that I've been kind of keying in on. And he's kind of like that little you want to root for that guy. Like you were talking about, Charles on the other side and stuff. He's a guy, you can see how much he wants it. He sticks it out. He's playing in the AAF. He could have came out and sat out. But instead, like, he's like still lining up. Like, let me go, coach. Like, keep feeding me the ball.
Yeah, you know who he reminds me of a lot is Matt Breida of the currently 49ers. Stay tuned. That may change. Who knows? Anyway, not the point of this live.
You got a little bit.
A little bit.
Wait, you have
a little bit of an inside rumor on that one. I don't know. We'll talk about it offline. Yeah. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, did you see who they signed to the anyway?
Yes, I did.
Besides the point. But it reminds me a lot of Matt Breida, who like literally would break both of his femurs and then would come back and keep playing. I'm like, dude, sit out a quarter, you're fine. You're on my fantasy team, but still, bro, don't die. It's kind of like Rashad Ross. He has so much heart. It's unbelievable. And that chemistry between Wolford and Rashad Ross is undeniable, and they need to exploit that, just like the Woodside and Mikhail McKay chemistry that that they have. Sorry, my brain's all buzzing now with Matt Breida because I'm like, oh, the NFL, I'm so excited.
I know, everyone's anyway. Our messages are like going off right now, like, oh, and then like Travis is like, wait, what's the source?
Nothing.
Yeah, so let's see. I don't know about
maybe
Coleman
a rumor from one Andy Holloway.
Ooh.
Of the fantasy footballers,
hey.
That's right. Hey.
Yeah.
Look how I sound like I'm so special. It's on their podcast. It's not like I have a direct line or anything. Or do I?
Or I'm going to go with you, too. I'm just going with you. Hey.
I know.
We have secrets here, but all you have to do is ask. That's what we say. All right, so we're going to jump into this last game here, the Birmingham Iron at the San Diego Fleet. This was a 32-29 barn burner that was, dare I say, okay, if you take all bias out of everything, wouldn't you say this was like one of the most exciting games of the year?
I do. I think this was so exciting. So I've said this from the beginning of this entire season, the league, whatever. I love the Birmingham Iron. I don't know what it is about them because they're
Trent Richardson, I'll tell you.
Maybe so. Maybe it's the whole YouTube Perez thing. I don't know. But there's something about this team that just makes me smile. And even though they don't have these crazy explosive games all the time, this was really a first. Speaking of first. But I absolutely love this team. And this was an excellent matchup. So speaking of firsts, this was a big game for firsts for the Iron. So this was the first time this season, or ever basically, that they've had a first quarter touchdown. This is the Birmingham Iron. This is the first passing touchdown for Perez, of which he had 3. Hey. And then this was the first receiving touchdown for Trent Richardson. And, just speaking of Perez real quick, so Keith Price scared the crap out of me when we played the Birmingham Iron. We, meaning the Apollos, played them last week because Keith Price was real nimble and real elusive, and I didn't like it. But then he gets hurt because he got beat up pretty much that first quarter. And Perez comes in his hometown in San Diego and was like, you know what? I got something to say. And the man made a statement. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for him. I don't know him, but I love him. And then Trent Richardson's like, oh yeah, I haven't, you want to play a passing game? That's great. I haven't caught a touchdown yet. I'm in.
Yeah.
So he scores a touchdown, and he rushes in another touchdown, shocking, to still lead the AAF in touchdowns. Like, there's nothing about this team. And then, I don't know if you've noticed, I got some Missouri paraphernalia on right now.
Oh,
that is my alma mater. Yeah, that is my alma mater, because my boy LaDainian Washington was that darling wide receiver of this matchup. Now, let me just give you a little bit of background. He only had 122 yards coming into this game, total. No touchdowns, 122 yards. In this game alone, he had 4 catches for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, hi, I love you, and I will watch you all the time. I'm going to get a Washington Iron jersey, and I'm going to put an Apollo logo on the front, and I'll be a house divider. I don't care. I don't care. I love him. I love them. They are so much fun to watch, and for the first time, the Iron focused on a passing game, explosive passing game, as opposed to that defense-minded, run-heavy, I guess, scheme that they've been working for a long time. And even though Perez threw 2 interceptions, they still didn't pull him. They stayed with him. And then Price wasn't actually that badly hurt that he couldn't come back into the game. So they really put their faith in him. And that was fascinating to watch. I loved it.
Yeah, no, that is just an awesome story. Like, we love the guys that the underdog, the undersized linemen, all of that stuff. So good for Perez. I mean, that was just an
what's going on? Sorry about that.
Never happens to me. I never do that.
Never. So I mean, Perez. It's just really fun watching this kid do what he's doing. He does need to cut down on the interceptions, though.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that he's got a future in the AAF at least.
Oh, he's got a future somewhere. So before he ended up getting pulled for Keith Price, he did have his agent receive several calls from NFL teams to, I guess, about a backup position. I'm not exactly sure what the whole situation was. So looks like you're blowing up. Someone's popular, Johnny Game Time Hicks.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on with my phone here. This is unusual.
Super popular.
Yeah.
And there was something about Perez coming into this too, because Keith Price, where he is very elusive and he uses his legs, he's not afraid to do so. This game was different than when he came in to fill in for Perez last week. He scrambled a little too much. But when Perez came back in, it almost like the chemistry came alive among all of the players. And it was a different feel to the game. It had that eyeball test to it that was just different. And it had this, like I said, chemistry again, but it had this gelling chemistry thing that was just really fun to watch, like you're cheering on Rudy or something. I was like,
exactly.
Yes, this is great. They're not even my team. See, this is why I like the Birmingham Iron, because they're not my team. Because when I watch the Apollos, I'm like, I need Rolaids and someone don't let me bite my fingernails or twist my hair off as I'm watching this game, and it freaks me out. I think that's why I like the Birmingham Iron so much, because I don't really mind as much when they lose. But they didn't lose.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have been real sad today. Otherwise, this would have been like a crying sad emoji face.
Oh, well.
This is for you.
Hopefully you don't have to bring that one out on the show.
Oh my God. If we lose to the Legends, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to show up with I will literally just let my mascara run down my face and just be a disheveled mess because we lost to the Atlanta Legends next week. Please, God, don't let that happen.
I hope for your sake that doesn't. I hope for that.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I think I'll be done with the AAF. I'm just kidding. I love the AAF, but that would be devastating. Well,
yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know that you're probably filling out your brackets, so we won't keep you that much longer. But like always, if you want to hit up at Stepmom Lauren, check her out on Twitter. She's a great follow. So at Stepmom Lauren, there'll be a little. I'm going to put this on YouTube, Lauren, so I'll put your little YouTube or your Twitter right there, and you can get her on Instagram and Facebook as well, right? At Stepmom Lauren, is that correct?
That's right. And also, I actually wrote an article for fakepigskin.com, and it goes way more in depth about this last slate of games. So if you're interested in that, fakepigskin.com. And I'm pretty sure our YouTube video will be up on Fake Pigskin as well.
Yeah, it's a great article. Very well written. It was awesome and really good, in depth.
Thank you.
More in depth than what I brought to this show. Lauren was great. So thank you so much, Whisper Nation. Until next time, you can check us out on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Just search the Fantasy Whispers. And make sure you guys get in on that Michael Thomas autographed jersey drawing. Yeah, Stepmom Lauren's entered in it. She wants it. It's awesome. I even tried to get it, but Travis wouldn't let me enter myself.
I know.
Yeah, Travis said no. No, you're eligible.
Okay, sweet.
We are. Yeah.
So you're saying that I have a chance. Yes.
I hope you win it, so you can put it in your background. All right, Whisper Nation. head on over to our Instagram page to check out more from the Fantasy Whisperers. Until next time, that is Stepmom Lauren, and I'm Giant Game Time Hicks, and we're out. Peace.